Hello, thank you for joining us. We begin our report with multiple developments in Donald Trump's legal cases, which are sprawling. But Monday's news was limited to what's happening in New York. First, the trial on the left there on your screen, the criminal one, in which prosecutors allege Trump knowingly falsified business records to hide payments to a porn actress to keep her from discussing an alleged affair with Trump prior to the 2016 presidential election. A trial date was set. April 15th will kick off the first criminal trial against a former president of the United States. While Trump sat in court for that hearing, elsewhere in Manhattan, a panel of judges awarded him a win in the case on the right-hand side of your screen, his civil fraud case. He had faced a bond payment needed in order to move forward with the appeals process of $454 million. It was lowered to $175 million. And Robert Costa has all the details for us.
It was a last-minute lifeline for Donald Trump. Near a deadline to secure a near $500 million bond, the five-judge panel gave the former president 10 additional days to come up with the money by Thursday, April 4th, and lowered the amount to $175 million.
It will be my honor to post, and we'll post whatever is necessary.
We asked Trump about how he plans to pay the new amount.
Can you give us a little bit more detail about the timing of when you plan to secure the bond?
Well, as I say, I have a lot of cash, but I would also like to be able to use some of my cash to get elected.
Trump's lawyers had argued securing the more than $460 million bond was a practical impossibility and said that more than 30 insurance companies had rejected him. New York Attorney General Letitia James was preparing to collect if Trump couldn't pay and to possibly seize some of his high-profile properties, which Trump called his babies on social media.
It's a wonderful break for him. I think they're overjoyed at receiving this decision.
Today, James said the new lower bond figure doesn't affect the case, noting that Donald Trump is still facing accountability for his staggering fraud, and that the judgment against him and his co-defenders still stands.
This is a case that could have been brought 3.5 years ago.
Amid news of the bond decision going public, Trump was in a Manhattan courtroom, learning that the criminal trial involving hush money payments to former adult film star Stormy Daniels would begin the middle of next month. Trump's lawyers argued the case should be delayed or dismissed, saying thousands of documents were improperly introduced this month. That was rejected by Judge Juan Merchan, who said you are literally accusing the Manhattan DA's office of prosecutorial misconduct and trying to make me complicit in it, and you don't have a single case to cite. Trump would be the first former president to ever face a criminal trial.
I would have no problem testifying. I didn't do anything wrong.
And Robert Costa joins us now. Bob, in the past, the former president has been able to raise some money off of these various legal moments that he has had. Has any of this helped him raise money? Because I know cash is tight for the campaign.
Former President Trump speculated about this today in a news conference. I was there, John, and he said, yes, if he's convicted or facing at least this trial for the next few months, it's not going to be helpful politically. But then he said maybe it could be in terms of galvanizing his supporters and really giving his base something to rally around.
And he, you know, one of his aides once told me, and you know this so well, that rallies for him are oxygen, was the way this aide put it. As you've covered all of these trials that he has to, where he has to sit in a courtroom and have these press conferences in these municipal buildings, how much of a downside is it for his campaign and just for the psychology of the Trump caravan that he doesn't get to go out and have those rallies at the pace that he liked to when he was in his full campaign mode?
When you talk to former president, when you talk to allies of former President Trump, they say, yes, these things really get his supporters going. They have grievances against the Justice Department. But this is taking them away from the issues they're focusing on in a lot of ads. They're trying to talk about the border. They're trying to talk about the economy. But instead of that, they're now focused, because of this criminal trial on the horizon, on hush money payments to a porn star back in 2016. And then you're going to have, in April, a decision on presidential immunity from the Supreme Court. Then possibly trials on classified records in January 6th that will be pretty tight if that happens before the election.
He told you, Bob, the former president did during the primaries, that the courtroom was the campaign trail. That doesn't seem so much the case anymore.
It is the case in a sense where I talked to the former president today. And it was again at 40 Wall Street, his property in Lower Manhattan. He's there, pulled into the riptide of New York legal issues because of all the past, all the things that have happened. He's facing scrutiny for his conduct and alleged actions. And this payment is no small deal. Yes, it got lowered to $175 million in terms of securing the bond. But Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, still said that everything remains a summary judgment against him in terms of the ruling, hundreds of millions of dollars potentially, should this move through the courts and ultimately end with Trump having to pay.
Robert Costa on the streets of Manhattan informing us and deftly dodging that jogger. Bob, thanks so much.